Hello everyone, back for another doll video, and today I'm going to be doing a kind of tutorial on how to remove Barbie doll heads the correct way without damaging them or anything like that. So I do have several candidates here. So one of the reasons I made this type of video a long time ago, but it was very unprofessional, and I mean, people said that it was helpful, but I look back on it now and it's just really, it's not very great. So I'm just going to redo it. And the main reason I am remaking this video is because I recently saw a video that someone else did, customizing it all. And they proceeded to make a little, like you see it on a Barbie head. So like you see up in there, where the little like neck rim is, they cut that, made a little cut mark, and that's kind of a big issue because that's what happens to like a lot of vintage Barbies without, intentionally cutting it, or people yanking the doll's heads off. That actually does happen. So this is actually a Barbie that I had that happen to. She recently got a body, but as you can see, I'm probably going to do a tutorial on how to fix this. But when you do that, when your doll gets like if you are going up in there and snipping a little bit to make the head easier to pull off, that split, that little cut can actually get bigger. I've had it happen on my very first Barbie, which was my first cut and style Barbie, the redhead. So, and what happened was her head broke off. My grandma tried to pull the prongs out of her head. Her neck peg actually snapped in half. So like the ring portion was still in her neck, and then the flange with the prongs on it was inside her head. And somehow when she went to yank that piece out, she had made a tiny little cut right here, and then the doll's head just kept falling off. I had to like keep squishing her head down onto her neck, and it would pop off again. And eventually the crack got so big that it went into her hair. So, yeah. But now this one, I yanked her head off of her original body years ago, like over a decade ago. And I used to do it really aggressively. And so it can result in the same thing. So with this one, I have patched. Yeah, so I harvested vinyl from another doll head that I couldn't salvage. And you can see it's not exactly it's much paler than her skin tone, but I used parts of the other doll head to glue over here. And you can see right here, this little line was how far the neck split had gotten. It was originally inside the head, which is where this person cut their doll's head. It was originally inside the neck rim, but it eventually moved its way up to this area. And so she had a legit crack or split on the outside where it was very noticeable. And I'd done many things over the years to try to patch it with glue, and it never worked. I could never get the two pieces to go back together. So you can kind of see the original crack in there that I was never able to glue back together. So, yeah, if you do that, this is very much a possibility that could happen, and you could potentially ruin your doll. So yeah, if you're cutting the neck rim on the inside, the more you play with the doll and mess around with the doll and stuff, eventually that split is going to get bigger. So you don't want that. So Now, some Barbies, I will admit, I don't know why, but Mattel over time will change the size of the neck flange. So, like this one, this is the Rainbow Sparkle Hair Barbie. I have 3 of them, and it's pretty much the same on all of them. So, this is, and I will note this is a China-made Barbie. So the method that I use is pushing the head down if you don't want to use hot water or a blow dryer to heat the head up. You push the head down onto the neck, like so. Yeah, and this is how my very first Barbie, when her head broke off, this is how she had to be. Except I didn't push her head down that far. It was like maybe like that, so there was still somewhat of a neck. But yeah, that eventually caused her her neck to split. So with this one, I wait a little while, and she has a bigger neck flange. But my little trick is to push the head down and grab the chin and then the back of the head, and then you pull. And with these China-made ones, sometimes it takes multiple tries. So I'm going to set her to the side. These 2 are Indonesia fashionista dolls, and it tends to work better on them. Mattel has actually shrank the neck flange. So these ones just pop right off. So I'm going to do the same thing. Basically, with a China-made Barbie, you might have to wait longer. You just have to be patient. But yeah, you basically grab the chin and the back of the head, and out pops the flange. So the flange is the round disc part right there. And then the prongs on the newer ones are rather weak, so yeah, see, this is one thing you don't want to do. So sometimes the prong will grab onto the neck rim, and because it is kind of like, you see that point, yeah, the point of the prong, sometimes those can be like pointy enough to actually rip that. So what you do is you just, if you can't get it off like that, you spin the head around so that now the prong that is inside the head is back here, and then bam. And if you really want to make it easier to pull the head off, you don't cut the neck rim. What you do is you get your scissors or whatever, and you cut. You do not cut this disc portion. So yeah, the disc portion right here, the flange, you do not cut that off. The part that you cut off is the prongs and then this long thing. So you put your scissors or whatever you're going to use in between there, and there you go. And 80s Barbies used to come like this. Actually, I have one here. I'm gonna have a story time video soon about this, so, but yeah, I did make this top for this doll. This is when I'm not very good at sewing or anything, but yeah, I made this, and I actually tried at it, so I will be making a video on that soon. But yeah, with an 80s Barbie, specifically the ones that have really squishy heads like this, all you do is literally just pinch the head like so, and there you go. It was that easy. No hot water, nothing. But yeah, this is usually what the 80s Barbies, early 90s Barbies had. Even 70s ones that had the pivotable neck articulation. So yeah, this is all they had. And it was very easy to pull the pull the heads off. And that's why a lot of 80s Barbies and Barbies before that will have like swapped heads, because it was that easy to get the heads off. So, but now this fashionista has this portion removed. So yeah, that, you don't need it. So in order to put the head on, you just push and then twist ever so slightly, and there you go. Her head isn't loose or anything like that. Perfectly fine. And now when you want to pop her head off, let's say you have a fashion. Oh, let me see. This is a perfect example. So I have this Christy doll here. This, oh God, what was she called? This, Splash and Color Christy. Now this is a Dollar Tree dress that I put on her. And as you can see, it has a ribbon that goes around that doesn't have a snap or Velcro on it. So, and sometimes it's literally just a loop that goes around. So sometimes if you want to get these sort of fashions on like Barbie dolls, because these are intended for a dollar store type of doll. So like this one. So yeah, you have a dollar store type of doll. And literally, their heads just pop right off. So that's what they were intended for. But if you are brave enough to put one of these dresses on an actual Barbie, I mean, it can be done. So it would be beneficial to cut the neck prongs off. And yeah, her head's been sitting on there for a little bit. So now you can actually do that because the head is easier to remove. So if you wanted to put a dress on her now that has this sort of situation, you can. All this without cutting the neck rim of the doll head, because that is just going to cause further damage. So I will demonstrate on another doll. This is just going to be a video of me pulling off Barbie heads, so be prepared. So yeah, we have this fashionista. Do the same with her. Grab her by the chin and the back of the head, and that easy. And since we do not want this little thing, I mean, you don't have to cut this off, like especially if, like, because you can see the white stress marks on that. So yeah, these little prongs are really weak. So yeah, if the prongs are really weak, you might not even have to cut this off. But some are a little bit stronger and they could potentially rip your doll's head. So we're just gonna cut it off. And then you have the piece. Don't need it. And then you put your doll's head back on. And it is very nice and snug on there. Now with a 90s Barbie, it can also work. I just recently did her. Like, I pulled her head off a minute ago to test her out. If her neck broke or anything, I have super glue for that, so. But she didn't. And she does, in fact, this is Sparkle Beach Christy. And if you can see, she actually does have some little cracks in her neck already. Because she is this doll is almost 30 years old, so. But you just do the same thing. Now this doll isn't Indonesia or China. She is made in Malaysia. So yeah, I don't remember when they stopped making dolls in Malaysia, but yeah, like the late 90s, there's some late 90s ones that you could find that were Malaysia. So you literally just chin, back of the head, neck flange comes out. Her prongs are a little bit stronger, so I will turn her head to the side. And I'm actually going to pull her head back. So I'm grabbing her head like this. and pulling back a little bit so that it can allow this to come out. And then, bam, there you go. And her neck is still perfectly intact. So yeah, and now if you wanted to, you could take this necklace off and put on another doll or whatever. I don't want to do that. Mainly one reason I take off Sparkle Beach Barbie heads is they all have their necklace on backwards, if y'all didn't know. So basically what the Sparkle, this is totally off topic, but whatever. So basically with a Sparkle Beach Barbie, their necklaces are usually like this. So it's literally a clear bead sort of thing, and they print the holographic detail on this side. And that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be turned this way so that it looks kind of three-dimensional, if you can see that. So yeah, on this side it's just the painted part, metallic painted part, and then when you flip it over, yeah, you can see it looks more 3D now. You can actually see it in there. It's kind of like how they do what they do with rhinestones. They'll put the shiny portion on the underside of the plastic gem, and that's what you do there. So then I usually flip them, as I call, right side, and it also protects the painted bit, because if this is flipped around, the painted portion of the holographic paint is more exposed to, like, if children are playing with it, the doll or whatever, this can easily get, like, the more the doll is played with, the easier this paint can come off. So, but if it's flipped upside down, then the clear portion is exposed, and that doesn't have any paint on it. So you don't have to worry about the holographic sparkles to come off. You don't have to worry about that happening. So just push her head back on very gently, and there you have it. So now we will return to Miss Rainbow Sparkle Hair Barbie. Her head has been like that for quite some time now. Maybe, just maybe, she'll be easier to pull off, but yeah. So I got the back of the neck flange out, and then I'll take her chin and kind of try to peel it up. So yeah, China made Barbies. There we go. Yeah, the neck flange is way bigger. I don't think they do neck flanges this size anymore. Oh yeah, she's got really weak prongs. So yeah, the little prongs are very weak. So you can literally just, after you get the flange out, you just pop it off. But in order to compare, do a size comparison, we're gonna cut this off again. So yeah. Pretty sure this is probably amusing by now. Just grab this and chunk it across the room, because we don't need it. And I will pick those up later and throw them in the garbage. So I guess it's all just a theory of mine, thinking that they were probably smaller. At least when I was looking at them, they looked smaller. But now I've actually cut the prongs off, so now I can compare them. Okay. Oh, yeah. So, if you see here, look at the size difference. Yeah, so this is a newer Barbie, and this is like a late 2010s doll. So 2018, 2019. This is a much newer one, so yeah. And there's some that are even smaller than that, and I hate those because the heads pop off a lot easier, and sometimes the doll heads will be loose. But yeah, her neck flange is about as big around as her neck, actually. And this one is bigger around than the neck. So you want the one that, yeah, so if Mattel, I highly doubt they're watching this video, but you want the neck flange to be about the same size as the neck. So you can see it lines, the flange lines up with the neck pretty nicely with the ends of it. And that makes the heads easier to take off and on if you need to. Let's say you find one of these at a thrift store and her hair is cut. It makes it easier to pull her head off so you can reroute her. And this one, you can see that, yeah, the edges do not line up. They kind of go over the neck. So yeah. I usually find this on China-made Barbies. I don't think Barbies are made in China anymore. They're all made in Indonesia now. But yeah, so now, let's see how easy it is to take her head off now that I've cut the prongs off. I don't know if it'll be much easier, but I'm gonna squish her head down again. And now that that piece is gone, it's easier to push her head down onto her neck, because it's kind of like a stopper or whatever, but I just cut those off. Oh yeah, see? Now that the prongs are gone, I can literally just, there you go. So while it is still a little bit harder to take off a China-made Barbie head, like a newer one, it's now a little easier because the prongs are gone. So the ones that have the bigger neck flanges, you definitely want to cut those prongs off of them. And I also have another Barbie. So this is a 2009 type of Barbie, and I think this was before they were doing the the thing that goes up inside the head. It was just the prongs without that long piece, so... Or I could be wrong on that. She might have that. And if that's the case, I might chop it off, So we have Miss Then and Now Barbie from 2009, the 50th anniversary doll, and her head's going to get ripped off, so I'm doing the same with her. Chin, back of the head. Bam, her flange came right out. Okay, yeah, she does have the thing that goes to the longer piece. So yeah, turn to the side, allow the other prong to come out, and there you go. Ewy, and we have nasty glue. So yeah, this is the Indonesia one, and she does have glue in her head. I also have the China one, and she does not have glue. So yeah. You know, I might actually keep the prongs. I'm not sure I'll be able to cut this, because... Yeah, I'm just gonna... Because her neck flange is a little smaller, but... Oh, hers is a bit harder to cut off. Oh. They used thicker plastic back then. So yeah, and with the ones with the prongs that are not weak, you can see where the prongs were molded. Ew, I have glue on my hands. Ugh. So glad they stopped doing the glue. But yeah, you can see with the prongs how you can see how it was molded, and then there's this extra piece going along. So this extra thing that goes straight across, and then you have the molded prongs where you can see this like corner right here where it was supposed to be molded. And then eventually they started making this go all the way across, so it makes them not as weak and flexible. It makes them more difficult to move. So these ones actually can potentially rip your doll's head open because those prongs are not as flexible, and then they'll grab onto your doll's head when you go to pull it off and cause it to split. So again, throwing it across the room, especially since it has nasty glue on it. So yeah, and her hair is tangled around her earring. Ewy. I can literally see some glue rattling around in there. Ugh. Yeah, see, I don't know why Mattel chose to go with the whole glue situation, because at least this type of glue, because it literally just disintegrates over time and then it doesn't even hold the hair in anymore. So utterly useless and disgusting. Okay, so the China one, I don't remember. Let me see. So yeah, this is my original doll. This one was a lot newer. She was a more recent one, and this one was my original one that I did get back in the day. So yeah. Actually, this one was given to me by a neighbor. New in box. From Walmart when she first came out. Yeah, China-made dolls are hard to pull. Okay, so yeah, I did. Eventually, I did cut hers off a long time ago. So yeah. Basically the same situation. I am surprised that there are no cracks in her neck. Being as how old as she is. She's like 12 years old now. Going on a 13 in dolly years. That is, that's quite old for a doll. Yeah, you can see she's got peeliness to her arm, but she's squeaky. So yeah, anyhow, I'm just getting in the zone of over here of doing the like testing doll heads to see how easily they pull off and stuff, because I'm kind of morbid like that when it comes to dolls. But yeah, you basically get the idea. Don't be cutting your doll's heads to get to where it makes the head come off easier. You know, I'm also going to test this on, so I have some Barbie extra dolls. This is what they did. The little thing that they did where they cut the head was on a Barbie extra doll. And I'm going to show you right now, all the Barbie extras, from what I know, are Indonesia made. They're all from Indonesia, so. And I already pulled her head off for the first time earlier to test it out, and it worked, so. Push it down, chin, back of the head. Neck flange comes out. Then you pull. She actually almost has the same situation as that one doll that I was talking about, the one with glue on the end of her. Yeah, the then and now one. But the little section that goes straight across is much tinier. So these are still flexible. I'm actually going to leave these on this one. Yeah, because, I don't know. But yeah, I got her head back on just like the other one, so there's that one. This one, I have not pulled her head off yet, so this is my most recent Barbie extra doll. And she has a completely different head mold, so. Yeah, she does have that same long piece that goes up inside the head. So yeah, I have not pulled her head off, but I have pushed her head down as far as I can get it to go with the necklace in the way. Chin, back of the head. See, we got the flange halfway out. Yeah. She might... Oh, no. I thought she had a bigger one. So with her, since her head was a little bit more difficult to get off, this one wasn't, but this one was, so... Yeah, we're just cutting off prongs today. Look what we have here. There we go. So now, her head is easier to take off. She can even like, I don't know, I used to do this with Barbies when I was a kid, so I used to push their heads all the way back because unlike the newer ones, mine didn't have the, let me see. No, not that one. I'm trying to figure out one that I haven't cut the prongs off of yet. No, not that one. I didn't want that one. This one. So, okay. So I have a Princess Barbie. Yeah, so she does... See, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, one thing you don't want to do is just, like, yank. You literally just want to push it down. Pull up. But yeah, the Barbies that I grew up with had this. No longer bit. So yeah, that's what you're left with. Sometimes I do cut these off, but since there's no long piece, I usually don't. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, that's what I used to do with my Barbies that had that neck articulation. I would always push their... I would always do that. So yeah. And I remember once, me and my friends, we were like sitting playing with our Barbies, and then I showed them that what I used to do, like pushing their heads back. And so we were doing this, and it kind of looks like she's looking up and like she's flying forward or whatever. So we used to take our Barbies and we used to do it both, and we'd be like, I gotta reach her to kiss her. I don't know. But yeah. Anyhow. Yeah, that's my awkwardness. My friends and I were weird with our Barbies. We also used to throw our Barbies in the trees and get them stuck so that we could climb up and get them down again. It was kind of like a little game. Until one of the Barbie's legs popped off, and then we were like, okay, we can't do that no more. Because hazardous for the dolls. So yeah, anyhow, that's my long rambly video on how to properly pull Barbie's heads off without causing any sort of damage. Depending on how old your doll is, some of the dolls might be older and have neck cracks like that other one. So you just have to be careful. But with newer ones, you should be perfectly fine using this method. So yeah, anyhow, that is my little video on how to pull off newer Barbie heads and some older ones, and cutting off neck prongs and throwing them across the room because it's fun to do that. But yeah. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. More videos to come, and remember to stay true to you.